Women's tennis has completely changed as a result of the Wuhan Open. The title goes to Coco Gauff. Crown slips. Sabalenka seemed disoriented. And all of a sudden, Polini and Pegula are taking center stage. This is more than a shakeup. It's a tennis earthquake of epic proportions. So, is this pandemonium with nice lighting or the beginning of a new WTA order? Okay, let's be truthful. This is not how anyone anticipated the Wuhan Open to appear. The top seeds were falling like flies by the time the semifinals arrived. The audience was going crazy. Coco Gauff, meantime, was stealthily navigating the mayhem as if she already knew the conclusion of the tale. She was clutching the trophy at the conclusion of the tale.
First, I'd like to congratulate Jess on an incredible tournament. You were playing a lot of three-setters. You were a three-set queen, so I was determined not to let you get there today because I felt like the odds would be in your favor on the third set. But no, when I came on tour, you were one of the first people to be nice to me and welcome me with open arms, and that really goes a long way and still goes a long way. So I appreciate you, and it's great to finally play in a final against you, and I hope for many more. So congratulations and thank you. It's an honor to share the court with you.
Gauff dominated Wuhan. Not just won it. She outlasted, outworked, and outplayed everyone who stood in her way. Coco was completely concentrated while Sabalenka was breaking rackets rather than serves, and she was having trouble finding her rhythm. The young person who was previously referred to as a potential star has formally given up on the future. The present is her. She moved perfectly. Her mental composure was icy cold, and her backhand was flawless timing. She seemed to have instantly downloaded Federer's patience.
Yeah, I definitely think it's, the surface I think I'm most true to. Obviously growing up, I just like the sureness of bounces and the sureness of knowing when I'm going to stop and when I'm going to go. So I think it's special. And also being an American is, I feel like that's our surface. And then a lot of people think it's clay. So I don't know, the favorite surface debate, I feel like it's still going to be hardcourt for me. But yeah, I didn't know that was a stat. So I'll try not to think about it if I'm in another hardcourt final to keep that record going.
The best part is that she made it appear simple. Let's not fool ourselves, though. There was more to the Wuhan Open than just golf supremacy. Everywhere else, it was about pandemonium. Left early. Sabalenka was shocked emotionally. Pegula is playing like a master of chess. Paolini is drawing attention as if she has been surreptitiously viewing videos of all 10 of the best players for homework. Like breakfast eggs, the WTA rankings were jumbled. Every single tale in this tournament deserves its own spotlight, so let's break it down. Coco Gauff comes first. Gauff had something to prove when he arrived in Wuhan. Her run in the US Open was described as a moment rather than a movement. However, this victory puts an end to all of that. She didn't pass by covertly. She was crushed. She used to be intimidated by names that she beat. In lengthy rallies that would have crushed her 2 years ago, she maintained her poise. Applause. Applause. Music. She played smarter, not harder, whenever a match became close. You can tell when a person is leveling up at that point. She is no longer the young gun at age 21. She sets the standard for what young athletes ought to look like. Athletic, composed, and noise-free. She was straightforward, modest, self-assured, and played classic golf after winning. I told you to look without really stating it, so there won't be any extravagant celebration or drama. Igani now turned away from the draw on the other side. She had a great start, but by the quarterfinals, her game had become a guessing game. Her renowned forehand is erratic. She missed an action on her first serve. The woman who was formerly in complete control appeared hurried. Even worse, her opponent didn't have to be a flawless tennis player. Shook just took a beating. Online fans began referring to it as the Wuhan wobble. To be honest, it suits. She has occasionally had a bad week, but this one hurt harder because everyone thought she would recover from her last spiritual setback. Rather, she appeared mentally exhausted. To her credit, Swiatek continues to be the general queen of consistency. She grinds like no one else. However, in Wuhan, her aura fractured just enough to give players the impression that they could defeat her. And that's risky since you're no longer unbeatable once players stop fearing you. You're just another formidable foe. Arena Sabalenka is another. Whoa. Fireworks and frustration coexisted during Sabalenka's week. She still had power. She was all over the place emotionally, but her forehand still sounded like thunder. She can be pumping her fist like a champion one moment and muttering to her box and slamming balls into the stands the next. Everyone adores passion, but there's a thin line separating it from being overdone. This week, Sabalenka crossed it several times. It wasn't skill that caused her to lose in the semifinals. It has to do with control. She began playing reactive tennis, lost concentration during crucial moments, and handed up easy breaks. It was evident in her face. She was not losing to her rival. She was losing to her own annoyance. Her curse for the entire season has been that. Although she has the strength to defeat anyone, she loses control when the rhythm is disturbed. And for that reason, despite having such a strong year, she hasn't been able to secure the top spot with ease. Then, without warning, Jessica Pegula appeared in her typical subdued, destructive attitude. Pegula doesn't flex, yell, or have tantrums. She simply breaks things down point by point, calm, exact, and measured. She was a textbook Pegula during her Wuhan run. Strong serves, astute returns, and the capacity to make her opponents appear to be racing uphill. She is the epitome of consistency. She's getting closer to the top once more because of this. Could we also take a moment to discuss Jasmine Paolini? Because, wow, she was hardly making the top 30 a year ago. She is now energizing the audience, defeating top seeds, and playing with the assurance of someone who has just realized she belongs here. Paolini ran a daring campaign in Wuhan. Rankings, names, and previous outcomes didn't matter to her. She simply turned up and faced off against every player, even those who had previously wiped her off the court. She had unparalleled fighting skills, flawless footwork, and precise timing. She was essentially learning match by match, making adjustments, getting better, and gaining more faith with each round. And that's what fans adore. Players that succeed due to hard work rather than hype. Behind all of this, the remainder of the field was quietly rattled. Marta Kostyuk is making an appearance, once more. This time, Emma Raducanu's return appears genuine. Leylah Fernandez has returned to fighting like she did in 2021. Veterans are already afraid of Victoria Mbako, who is only 19 years old. Women's tennis appears to have a bright future. But let's get back to the top, because Coco Gauff made a definite statement this week. The balance of power is changing. The WTA isn't dominated by a single brand for the first time in many years. Gal, Swiatek, Sabalenka, Rybakina, Pegula, and even outsiders like Paolini and Navarro are all involved. The ranking boards are acting like musical chairs. Furthermore, nobody can predict who will be at the top when the music ends. However, that's also what makes it so enjoyable, as fans have long lamented the WTA's excessive unpredictability. It's this unpredictability that keeps it alive. Every match has a new vibe. Every competition has an air of openness. Additionally, each player believes they have a chance. That's where the Wuhan Open had a unique impact. It wasn't your typical tournament. It was evidence that this generation is no longer waiting for their moment. They're accepting it. Gauff claimed her title. Pegula gained the upper hand. Paolini respected her. She also received a much-needed reality check. However, Iga won't be silent for very long. She will return stronger than ever, most likely in the upcoming tournament, ready to remind everyone why she remains the queen of clay and the greatest threat on hard courts, if history is any indication. This also applies to Sabalenka. She is lethal when her emotions subside. We get Wuhan when she doesn't. To be honest, that's what makes this turmoil so beautiful. A fresh person has their moment each week. Thus, the message is evident when Coco Gauff raises the trophy in Wuhan. In women's tennis, dominance is no longer guaranteed. Everyone can be defeated. Everyone is getting up. Coco is currently in the lead, but the group is closer than before. Let's now discuss the true implications of this victory for Coco Gauff. Because it's not just a trophy. It's a declaration. She is no longer tennis's future. She is now playing tennis. She is outperforming players who used to treat her like a novice and making them appear sluggish. The nicest part is that she's doing it her own way. Calm, self-assured, and drama-free. On tour, that is uncommon.
And two more things I have to say. I would like to thank my family back at home watching, my mom and my dad, grandparents, my brothers, and everyone that I love, my boyfriend, all those who keep me sane on and off the court. And I really appreciate you guys. And even though you're afar, your support is felt. And also, I have a huge thank you to all the Chinese fans and all the fans that have been supporting me here and also in Beijing. You guys have been like beyond my expectations. I literally had to bring an extra suitcase back home because of all the gifts that I received. So I just want to say thank you all so much, all the love, the support, and everyone that makes me feel so welcomed in China, especially so far away from home. And I think that's why I have good results here, because of the good energy.
After Wuhan, her interviews were focused and mature. Instead of talking about hype, she discussed the process. Not about fame, but about footwork. What sets her apart from the others is her calm demeanor. Gauff's development goes beyond his outward appearance. It's psychological. She is playing under the guidance of someone who has experienced every kind of game, including blowouts, comebacks, and tiebreak battles, and who has learnt from them all.